What's good, people, man? I'm out here on the porch. It's bright as shit out here, real talk. But you feel me? I just woke up really, cleaned up a little bit and stuff. And the day I popped in that Nipsey Hustle, that Crenshaw, and I think this was really his idea of Victory Lap. He just changed the name and turned Victory Lap into his album name. But like, I think honestly, Nipsey is probably one of the most underrated right now. But the fact that Kendrick hot right now, and on the West, all you heard was you had Problem. I don't know if y'all if it's following as big as I think it is, but Problem really. You really ain't had no West Coast people but Nipsey and Problem and J Rock. He a old school nigga, not too old, but he really wasn't out there like that. But when he came out, you knew about it. But like, I don't think people recognize Nipsey for what it is. Like, you can hear it in his voice. He a real nigga, and he's speaking from where he came from in that lifestyle. And let y'all know it's still going on out there. Like, it didn't stop after Tupac. It didn't stop after Snoop had changed his swag up a little bit, became more of a mentor. It wasn't. It just didn't go away. It just wasn't as loud and as heavy as it was in the '90s when they had all the voices out for it. As far as like Pac, Dre, and all the old school, Corrupt, Dog Pound, you know, all of them, when they was out, that's the only time, we really heard about it. Sort of like the similar thing going on in Chicago right now with Chief Keef and Reese and them boys is just a voice, and they giving y'all a look of what's going on in their hood. And with them having such a voice and being heard, I ain't gonna say it glorifies it, but it magnifies it. So really, we ain't had no one magnify the West Coast like that. They just kind of chilled out. And then Nipsey came about, and like I've been rocking with Nipsey since Bullets Ain't Got No Name. Like I always tell people, Nipsey and Fabulous is like my favorite too. Like that's who I could see my persona in, and like people be like, oh Fab this, how Fab did like Jay and all them, and they got their voice and stuff when they had to turn when the East Coast was running shit. Fab was kind of like that middleman between the times. Like, yeah, Jay and them was out, but Fab was growing up listening to Jay and them, and he was from Brooklyn too. So, you feel me? After New York had lost it to the South, started magnifying Atlanta. That's when T.I. and Jeezy and them took over. Fab was out, and that's why a lot of them niggas fuck with Fab, because Fab was still bringing y'all what was going on while Jay-Z no wasn't in the streets no more. So, you feel me? It's just the times, and I just think Nipsey, he doing his thing. He put passion into the music. I like the fact that he don't just throw shit out there. He take his time with it, and he try to show y'all that he really about this shit. And I just think he just overlooked. You feel me? You got MMG looking at him. You got, I know I heard Interscope was trying to get him. You feel me? So it's not like he ain't moving. It's just he very passionate. He's strategic when he drop his music. When he drop it, it's quality music every time. Like I haven't heard not one whack track from Nipsey ever. I've never heard a whack track from Nipsey since Bullets Ain't Got No Name. Every track he done went hard on every last one of them. You feel me? You gotta respect that, and it's a marathon. You feel me? I understand where you coming from. It's not about the sprint. It's about the marathon. So everything he preaching, I just feel, I just feel like Nipsey should just get more shine. You feel me? He really ain't got too many radio records because he ain't a radio personality, but I still feel like he could be a force if the right people get behind him and he get that push he need. He said he don't want to go to a label. I mean, I understand where he coming from. You feel me? Because the label shit is kind of paid out. But if we go to I wouldn't even consider these labels now that I'm thinking about as labels. Like YMCMB is not a label. That's not Interscope. That's not Universal. That's just a way of you putting out your music. As in, like, they supply you with what you need to put your music out. You feel me? So I wouldn't say it was a label. Like I think him and MMG, that's a good look. That's just my personal opinion. I just think that would be a good look. Cause he fucked with Ross. He been fucking with Ross for a while. They used to shout each other out on Twitter and shit. and they got some tracks together and shit. And like I could see him fitting into that. I want to say, that fit into that the MMG look. I think he could pull it off. I think him and Meek, they coming from not similar because Nip was gang banging, but Meek is street nigga too, so it's both street niggas. I think that will work out. And Wale with the creative side, Nipsey is a creator too, so I think him and Wale could bounce off each other, and he can get more radio play if you fuck with Wale, because Wale, he getting radio shots. So you feel me? If Nipsey get around some people like that that's building their own brand under, I guess you would say, a label, but it's just Ross teaching them really, because I see Ross, I can tell that he's more of a mentor to them than a boss. He's trying to show them how to get their own money. And everyone that they're successful. You feel me? It's working. You feel me? And I feel like if Nipsey get that, the plugs Ross got in the game, if Nipsey was to tap into that, Nipsey could be a force on that West Coast, and he could bring his own shit and do the same thing Kendrick doing with the TDE. Like he say TDE, people forget he on Aftermath though. That's still Dre camp. Kendrick is just, you feel me? Kendrick is under Dre, but Kendrick got his own shit going on with TDE, so he got a little partnership with Dre on that fact. Boom, it's the same thing with him on Shady Records. Like they under Aftermath though. That's Dre's thing. So if if Dre don't want to pick him up with the all money in thing, I'm quite sure Rick Ross would respect what he bring to the table and be like, you know what, cause he got Dream Chasers with Meek. You feel me? Wale, he got a label from what I heard with the Tierra Thomas thing. So he working on bringing out artists. They all about to bring their own. I can see them bringing their own artists out. Like Meek had Lil Snoop and all that. So I just think that would be a good look. But he ain't trying to do that. You feel me? Respect to him. But I just think Nipsey is one of the most underrated to bring it all around or whatever. It's bright as shit out here. I know y'all probably like, why the hell? It's cool though. That's why I got the Scully on and the long sleeves, man. But that's just my take on that. There's some other things I'm gonna talk about. You feel me? I ain't trying to make too long of a video for this one, but let me get my thoughts together. Keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get my voice out there. I appreciate it if you do look. I had received one comment earlier. You feel me? And he's like, I ain't look, but if you said it ain't 9 out of 10, you wrong. I should have responded, but I didn't. I'm just voicing my opinion out here, man. So respect it. I mean, that's what it is. And I holla at y'all another time.